special guest today. Brian's in his car. Looks like he's going someplace, but I want to ask him a couple questions. Hey, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm doing well today. Thank you for coming on. I want to share your story a little bit with other inventors. Okay, and because as you
Okay.
know, um, bringing your idea to market's not easy, is it?
No, it's especially if you don't have the kind of guidance that you would get from inventRight. If you're by yourself, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit because you licensed an idea recently, but congratulations, by the way. Um, but I,
Thank
yeah, I want to talk a little bit about some of the problems because it seems to me if we can explain what
you.
some of the problems you've overcome, then that kind of helps other people understand the process. So, is there one thing that you think about that you had to overcome in order to license your first idea?
Oh, some of the things that I've gone through to license my first idea.
Yeah, some of the problems you had to overcome.
Oh, yeah, my first idea. I'm just trying to understand the PPA process, the patent application process. If you're trying to do that on your own, then there's a lot of legal jargon and certain language that an average person would not know.
Okay.
And filling out creating a contract, one comma or one semicolon in the wrong place would change the entire clause, and trying to figure that out on your own could be a bag of noodles.
Yeah, the provisional patent application sounds really easy, and I think it can be if you've done it a couple times. But the first time's not easy, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Is it easier now that you've done it to write the second one or the third one? Is it going to be easier for you?
Yeah, I believe so, because once the first one, and once you kind of like struggle through the first one, and you get basically a handle on what kind of what's expected or what could be left in, what could be included, what could be left out,
Okay,
then the first one can seems to be like a template. You can go from there.
got it. Yeah, I've written quite a few myself over the years. It's still um,
Ah,
it still takes a little bit of time and thought. Brian, what about when you were reaching out to companies? How did they treat you? Were they fair
oh
to
yeah.
you?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, yeah. It was pretty interesting. This particular company wanted to see the product,
Okay,
and so I sent them a sell sheet, and they wanted to see more, and so I sent them the virtual prototype,
got it.
and then they had a list of different, I guess, a particular license agreement that they wanted to sign, and they asked me what I had in mind,
Okay,
and they listened to what I had to say. They asked questions. Some companies will just say, okay, well, just give me the information. We'll get back to you 2 weeks after never, or something like this. But this particular person called me, sent me an email right back, and gave me a call right back, and we had a nice conversation. So they
okay,
were pretty courteous, and they asked me some of the same questions over and over.
okay.
But so I had to explain to them some of the process about licensing agreements, and so we kind of made a match.
Yeah, sometimes you have to educate them a little bit too, don't you?
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah.
So tell
Yeah.
me, how important was your sell sheet or your marketing material? How important was that to get that done right?
Oh, it was pretty much crucial to have that correct. So, if you try to do anything of course, if you try to do anything without InventRight, or if you try to do anything on your own, you might give them too much information, and it might scare them away because it's too much to look at or too much to observe at one time. Or, it's um, the kind of wording, if you want to explain it. It's one of those things where it's our product is our baby or our child, and so we understand what the product is. We understand what it does because it came from us. But trying to explain that to somebody who is new or cold to the product or doesn't know, it's pretty difficult. And so that, we end up getting frustrated because like, oh, it's right there. We understand it. So with the sell sheet and with the virtual prototype, it puts our product into a particular context that is easy to understand and easy to grasp. So it's good.
It's very, very important. Did they ever ask for a physical prototype from you?
I've had companies ask me for a physical prototype from me, so I would scramble to the hardware store. It's like, I didn't know they were going to ask for that soon, that quickly. I thought we were going to just talk about it and then work together and have a time cushion. But, so now it gets it done. So sometimes, yeah. But now I know that a virtual prototype is much better because it's an actual picture with an explanation that you can come back and, same thing with the sell sheet. You can come back and explain more. Without having to send them a big shoe in the mail.
Yeah, that's funny you said that. What's kind of interesting, everybody believes you need a prototype, but you really want to sell the benefit of your idea first. And then once you do that, some of the other things they ask for, maybe you supply them. But people seem to get bogged down thinking they have to do everything perfectly. They have to have a perfect working prototype. And that's when it gets very expensive and really slows it down. And prototypes don't sell, actually, either. They just sit there. That's why good marketing material. So if you were going to give anybody that was starting out any advice, what would you give them, Brian?
Basically, if they're in the inventRight class, take lots of notes, ask a lot of questions, and then just, really relax through the process. A lot of us want to hurry up because we see the end result in mind. We have some of us lie in bed and say, oh, once I get my licensing agreement and I can get my royalty check, I can go grocery shopping and I can buy hair and I can get a boat. No. First things first. Know where you're going, sure, and have a destination. Okay. But first thing is first.
All right.
Ask a lot of questions. Find out about the sell sheet. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with life. Not everybody's going to, not every person, manufacturer, distributor will call you back when you think they should. Be persistent, be patient. Right. Don't skip any steps.
All right. Well, Brian, thank you very much to take some time out of your day. It looks like you're going someplace. So thank you very much for coming on. And once again, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, and thank InventRight. I really couldn't have done anything without InventRight. I like the community and the camaraderie and the conversation, and I deeply appreciate that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Have a safe day.